Hey everybody, it's Miriam here at the Paperwheelz Studio, back in the craft room and playing with paper today. Today we are going to try crackling up some paper, and this is one that I've already done. I was testing out my Crackle paint. Looks pretty cool. And this is actually originally was red cardstock. I painted it blue and then used the Crackle paint on top. And I have a crackled pocket now that I can add to a journal. I went ahead and went over these edges. You wouldn't have to do that if you're doing a pocket by any means, or the bottom for that matter. And this should still glue down okay. I'll probably put it under something heavy to get those so they stay down. And that's what we're going to do today. I have several dark colored paints here. Colors do not matter. The only thing the Crackle medium tells you for the type that I have is that you want to use contrasting colors. You'll see your crackles. If you use two colors that are exactly the same, it would be very difficult to see any crackles in it. So I have separated my darks from my light colors. I've got several different dark paints here, and I'll tell you what they are as we go through them. And this is a 3-step process. Very simple. You just got to wait your times and let each step dry in between. I brought my heat dryer over here that I may use to dry some of this. And let's just get going. Let's crackle. Of course, you all probably read my cackle while we crackle here. Cackling is just very loud, obnoxious laughing. It's one definition of cackle. So, I don't know that I'll get very loud and obnoxiously laugh today, so maybe I misspoke. However, this isn't really a dark one. We're going to try it. Put a different color on top. It's a metallic paint. Just putting a little bit down because I am trying these things on small items today. I didn't want to use bigger ones because I want to see if it dries well. And that way, I'm going to just I got some paper towels here. I'm going to lay it on my paper towel. That way if I go off the sides, it really doesn't matter. I'm just putting some paint down here. I think what we'll do with this one is paint it with the metallic paint, and then maybe we'll come back and do a darker, we'll actually consider this one of the lighter paints, and we'll just reverse it and do a darker color on the top. I've not tried that yet, so let's see if that will work. So I'm going to put some paint down on these. Hope everybody's doing well out there, and of course, it won't matter if you don't watch this for another week, but we're at a point. Everybody seems to talk about the weather. We are at 90 degrees here in Southeast Ohio, which is kind of warm for us this time of year. But that's okay. I don't mind summers. I just don't like summer humidity, which we get a lot of here. But it happens, so. All right. Now this is going to be covered up. I just want to make sure I get it mostly covered here. So I'm going to make sure I got a good coat on here, because I found if you don't give it a good coat, your crackle doesn't work very well. I experimented a little with it so I could be familiar with it before I did it on camera, because I guess I could come on here and it could have backfired and I did it all wrong. But at that point when you're painting things, if it's all wrong, you just want to toss it if you can't resurrect it and make something with it. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and come in with another color, and I probably won't use this particular color again. In fact, let's figure where it is and set it off to the side somewhere. That's it right there. Rose gold metallic paint. I should look at the bottom of it to know it's a lighter color, so we're going to put that with the lighters. Let's paint a few more here. We can even mix a color with this if we wanted. Let's see, I've got a burnt umber. Nope, this is actually chocolate bar. The burnt umber is back here. Let's try the chocolate bar and mix it in with the metallic here and see what we get. Where did I put my skizzers? Skizzers? Somebody calls them skizzers online. I can't tell you what it is right now, but I've heard somebody use that online. And that's probably why I repeated it, because I heard it online. And I'm not sure who says it, but somebody calls their scissors skizzers. We want chocolate, and I can't squeeze these very well, so let's do that this way. I got all the plastic off here, but there's some come out. I guess I can squeeze it, just not very easily. Step the lid back down so it doesn't dry out on me. And let's just mix this a little bit up and see what we get and try it on some things. I think we're going to have just a bit of a metallic, brighter colored brown. Just made it a little lighter and a little more metallic. Get out of there, paintbrush. You're not allowed to jump in on this. Alright, so let's grab, I don't know, something else out here that we can paint on. Like I said, I brought a whole stack of things with me today. So let's just paint this guy brown to start with. And again, we want a nice coat on there. Clear to the edges. If you didn't want to crackle a whole piece, you could simply crackle half of it. I've not tried that yet, but as long as you're using paints that are not runny, it wouldn't matter. Still has a little bit of metallic sheen in this one. But that's okay. I don't want to put too much on there because I want it to take all day to dry or anything, but I want to make sure my tag is completely covered. And yes, I have paint all over my fingernails because I've been trying this and I didn't want to redo them until I finished my video for today. Because I did not want to have to worry about getting paint all over my newly painted fingernails. So, and I can just use acetone to remove the paint and everything at one time. Now these things are warping, but that's not a big deal because you saw my little pocket, it also warped when I did it. It's okay, it will come back down, just some moisture from the paint. Our fire siren just went off here and it's quite loud. You might be able to hear the fire trucks, ambulances. I'm not sure what's going on out there. Okay, we'll do a couple more chocolate brown and then we'll switch over to, I've got a midnight blue and a black and metallic black. So we'll do these two in brown and then we'll switch colors. And I just have a plastic lid here I'm dumping my paints on. It's an old disposable plastic lid. It just makes cleanup easier for me because then I can just toss the lid away and I don't have to clean up all my paint mess. Make sure we get this covered well. Gotta have enough on there and not just staining it. You really got to have some paint on it. Thought that was going to hit my lap here and definitely didn't want to get it all on my clothes. I am a messy crafter. What can I say? Messy is my middle name. My brother, when he was living, he used to tease me a lot because it never failed that when we would sit down to dinner, I was the kid that always spilled the milk or whatever you were drinking for dinner all over the dinner table. Of course, I came by that honestly because my dad tells me of the very first date he had with my mother's family, they had something that he was putting mayonnaise on. I don't recall what he said at the time, but he went to put his knife down in that mayonnaise jar and the mayonnaise jar broke and mayonnaise went everywhere, all over everything. So I guess I come by it honestly, just like my daddy. I do have some of my mother's characteristics, but I tend to take more after my father, and my brother tended to take more after my mother. My mother and brother have both passed away. My mother a year ago, and last week we had another death in the family. It was actually my husband's family. Technically, we're not married, but we were for 24 years. We were divorced then for about 10, and we've gotten back together. We've just not remarried. So, I call him all different kinds of things, but he calls me his wife, and I usually refer to him as my husband, so. A little harder to hold on to a frame when you're painting it, isn't it? This is just one that I had in an ephemera pack and thought, I'll never use it like that. So I thought, let's just see what it looks like Crackle. And again, these are pieces of old ephemera, cardstock, random things that I had in my stash that I have more of, except for maybe this frame. So it won't matter if I mess them up, I guess. And hopefully I don't, but you never know. All right, so we're going to lay that to the side here. Get too many, I won't have anywhere to put them on my table, will I? Okay, is that the end of the brown? That looks like everything. So we're going to clean my brush off slightly. I do have a cup of water. I can rinse it in. I just didn't want to get my hand on it. Oops. There we go. Set you right over here so I can clean my brush out. And it doesn't have to be perfectly clean, just enough that I can switch my colors here. It won't matter because I'm not putting my brush down into the bottle of paint. I'm squirting the paint out. So let's go with the burnt umber. Burnt umber, that's what this is. It's I think a dark brown. This is a multi-surface paint. I've not used it for crackling, but I don't know why it wouldn't work like any other. It says acrylic paint, so we're going to give it a shot, see if it works. I'm going to put the paint in that, or the brush down in the bottle. I just said I wasn't going to do that, didn't I? So we're going to squirt out some burnt umber, maybe. Are you going to come out, burnt umber? Are you coming out to play today? Well, burnt umber doesn't want to play. So we're going to take burnt umber's lid off. See if we can get, oh, burnt umber is very, very thick. Okay, so I'm going to get some out here. It's almost like, it looks like melted chocolate, doesn't it? It's almost a melted chocolate color. Very, very thick. I don't know if the other, I got another multi-surface. I don't know if it's this thick or not, but wow, that's thick. So, oh, that would clear the floor. So we're going to set this off to the side for a few. I don't think it'll hurt all the longer I'm going to be on the video. Anyway. Alright, so let's pull a few more things in here that we can paint on. I've got another tag here, and a couple tags, I guess, and some different little things here. I think with this little map square, I'm going to see about crackling only half of it and see how it turns out if we just try half of it. So I think we'll do it first. Get some of my, maybe that needed shook and I didn't shake it enough, but we're going to try it anyway. I don't know. It is very thick, so we want to make sure that we kind of spread it out a little, so I don't have big piles of it that have to dry, but it is covering well. Yeah. Probably got too much out of there for a few things, but it's okay. We'll deal with it. Okay, we're going to stop there and only crackle half here. Okay. It said that when you do these on the bottle to let it dry for an hour. It didn't take quite an hour to dry, and as long as it's dried through and there's no wet on that paint, it'll work just fine. So I looked at my first one I painted over here, and it's drying just fine now. I'm only going to do a couple of these because I don't trust this paint for some reason. I don't know why it's so thick. We'll see if it works. This is just some ovals that I had, oval label like things I had from my card making days. Likely picked them up on sale somewhere, which is where I bought most of my card making things. I bought them on sale somewhere. Different places. We used to have a Crafts 2000. We now have a Michael's. Our Joann's is shut down, as with a lot of them across the country. I don't know if they all shut down or just some of them. Anyway, and we have Hobby Lobby within driving distance. I'm in Ohio, right across the river. In West Virginia, we have those places. It's kind of thick, but we'll see how it does here. I'll try to put some on my little drying, or my little tray, and we'll grab me a wipey here so I can get my fingers, so I don't end up with brown all over everything. Alright, I'm not going to try the brown anymore. We've got Midnight Black and Metallic Black, so let's get these down on here. This video might be a little longer than other videos I've done. And would you believe I did get it on my shirt? Guess that happens. Hopefully I'll wash right out. Chocolate brown on my shirt. I feel like I just ate a candy bar in the sunshine. I don't know if you've ever tried to eat a candy bar in 90-degree weather, but it's messy. And that's what this stuff reminds me of. I better not taste it though. It might be a little toxic to eat. It does look like melted chocolate for sure. You know those photos of food that people do? I wonder how much of it's really food or just paint painted on there to look like food. I watched one of those shows one time, and I think they do a lot of just painting to make it look like food. Alright, we're not ready for you yet. We need a few more bases. So let's pull a couple more in here. And we'll paint them. Also have this neat little thing that had stickies in it. And I think I'm going to crackle the outside of it with the navy when we get to it, so that I have a neat looking journal. A little mini journal. I also have some playing cards here in my stack, so we'll grab one of those out. And I do have another pocket down there. Let's move on to the color shift Black Flash. I won't mix the color shift, but we're going to try it. Okay, I'm going to keep one of these for my crackling and one for my topping. Let's get these out of here. Out of the way. And I got that chocolate on everything. Pull that other paintbrush out of here. I just grabbed a handful of them. So you're under there, but you're practically dry. So let's put you towards the back. Oh. That's just a label on the front side of this. I had it labeled, had something in it and labeled it. Never took the label off. Okay. Ooh, that kind of gives that gold almost gives this black an underlying green color. Looks more green on camera than actually if you were looking at it off camera. But it gives an olivey green color. So let's see how it really does on something. I think we're going to use it right here on this. This is just an old Scrabble card from a Scrabble game, board game, or card game of some kind. Just rinsing my brush over here in my Wawa. Well, that's a blast from the past. Now I'm starting to sound like a little kid. Well, they say the older you get, you start resorting back to your childhood, so maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. What do you guys think? Probably thinking I'm crazy. That's what you think. All right. Do a few of these, and then I think we'll start. I want to do a couple midnight blues. We're not going to miss the midnight blues here, y'all, because I want to see how it turns out. So we're going to paint this on here. Give it a good little coat. I didn't sand this or anything prior to putting this on. I'm just simply putting paint over the card and trying not to leave a bunch of streaks. So, it's easier for me to hold it and paint them. Get paint on my fingers and then wash it off than it is to lay it down and try to pick it back up. So that's what I'm doing. And if you guys haven't tried this, you have to give it a shot because it's just so cool. And you'll probably like it so much, you'll want to buy yourself some paints. Go somewhere where you can buy your little acrylic paints for 50-some cents. That's where I picked up several of these on Amazon or when they had them on sale. I just pick them up and then I have them for projects. At 53 cents a piece, you can't beat that. You can't. I don't think you can even get anything for 50 cents at Dollar Tree anymore. So, all right. So we'll make sure this is all good and covered with our paint. See a few streaks, but I think it's partly the gold coming through. Just making sure I got it good and covered in those spots. And if it doesn't crackle all over, if it crackles some, that'll just be really cool too. It's like I want to crackle everything in sight now that I see what it does. All right, so let's put that one. Running out of room. Put you there. Just have a bunch of this black paint, so let's do a tag in it. And this is pure white, so maybe it'll look different on pure white. It's not coated or anything. This is the back side of the white label. I just picked it because it's not coated. I just want to see if it'll do anything different on this particular piece. It does look different painting it on there. You don't get as many streaks. I mean, you can see your brush strokes, but it's not streaking like the other one did, I don't think. It's pretty cool looking. Even cooler when it's cracked. Again, no. Okay, got a couple of those. And let's just do this smaller tag right here. This is one that I just simply used a label across the top and just cut the little bit off just because I thought it looked really cool. So I'm just going to paint the whole thing. Never know. It'll just look like it was cut to be that way. Yeah, never know. What's that meme that goes around? Nobody will ever know. Which makes no sense on YouTube because, you know, anybody in the world can watch it, but that's all right. They have to watch the video to know. So if they don't watch the video, then they'll never know, right? Guess that's how that goes. Okay, let's move on to the midnight next. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna put that in my water while I pour out some midnight paint here. And then we'll start doing some drying. Looks like we might need a little bit of drying on some of them. And you know what? I bet you I can't get this open. Oh, wonder if it's going to come out and play. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It acts like it's a thicker paint too, so it might not come out as well either. Got a little bit. Let's try for a little bit more. Well, I got barely any. So let's see if we have enough to do a tab. I got a tiny little tab here. We're going to see if there's enough to spread you on this tiny little tab. And I'm going to use a smaller brush to do that. And I have a pearlescent top coat. Where'd that little bit of glue go? Ah, right here. Right here. I don't know if we're going to have enough here. Might have to try to get some more out of the blue. Or just forget it for now. There's that little bit that came out. It jumped out here on my... You guys are placing it. It's right in front of you. It's right here on my glass mat, so that's okay. I think there might be enough here to do this, or at least half of it. Just want to paint it with the really dark blue first, because each one of these is going to give just a little different effect. Because of they're different colors. Okay. So do we have enough to do? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe there's enough to get it done. Let's see if we can get enough out of the top of the bottle, since I couldn't get it to squeeze. Maybe not. Will it open? Do you think it'll open? What do you think? Nope. Not today. So we're not going to try. We're going to leave it like it is, and we're going to see if it crackles like that. We will give it a shot and see how it crackles. All right, I'm going to move these other things I did not paint out of my way here. Get rid of my messy wipe. Maybe I can use it to get this blue up first. And then we're going to dry these babies. Yeah, I did. And add some crackle to them. All right, we'll put you there. Start with the one we did in the very beginning over here. It's only going to need a little blast. you don't like the noise from the heat gun. Now, we're going to take, and I'm going to save this one for last because it has the most paint on it. So let's just leave it right there somewhere. And we need a little puddle of Crackle medium. So, lid is loose, so I just got to get it off here now without spilling it. There we go. I'll make myself a nice little puddle of the clear because that's what it, gotta get them coated good with the clear because that's what you need to do. And I'm gonna grab another brush here, and if it mixes with that other paint, I just won't use that little bit. I just want the clear bit here. So that I must have gotten on my mat too. Well, let's just use it on these things. Okay, we'll put that. We did him, but that was so small, it was completely dry. So we're going to just slide him over here and just start covering these pieces and laying them out of the way. Okay, y'all, I am back. I have painted all of my pieces with the Crackle paste, and this is the last step that we need to do here. And it, if it's going to work, you'll see it crackling right away. Now, I have 3 top coats here. This is says acrylic paint satin. It does say it's acrylic paint, so I don't know if it'll work. This just has a pearl shimmer. It should work. It's an acrylic paint, and I've already used the antique white on my original ones. So let's just see here what we get when we paint these. I think I'll use the pearl on this one. I think this is the metallic black color. So let's just paint some of this on here and see what we get. I don't know. As it dries, it crackles, supposedly. So I'm trying to get enough on here to cover the other paint. And when it starts, it should crackle as it dries. When I start seeing crackling, I'll hold it up where you can see it. I hope it's going to work for us. Might not. There's always that chance, you know. Just cover it with the pearl paint. And we're going to let it dry and see what it does now. Okay, I'm just going to put that right there in front of us so we can keep an eye on it. And I'm going to wipe off my brush on my paper towel. I'm not going to worry about getting it completely clean. And I want to come in here with one of these chocolate, or one of these brown ones. I think this is the one they called chocolate bar. I think it should have been this one because it looked like melted chocolate when it was wet. And this is just a regular piece of cardboard I used. So let's give it some antique white here. We just want to cover it with the antique white. It's actually doing better job covering the darker paint, so we'll see. And you might want to put, oh, it's starting to crackle. Look there. Can you see it? Crackling. See there how it's crackling where I've already put the paint as it dries? I'm assuming that the metallic's not going to do it if this one's drying that way and giving us the crackle look here. Oh, that is just too awesome. We'll go ahead and finish painting this, and I'll hold it closer to the camera so you can see it. It's just really, really cool. And you don't want to, if you miss a spot, like back here where it's beginning to crackle, don't go back and try to cover it let it go because it won't crackle very well that way. So you want to make sure you got enough paint on your brush to alrighty. Oh, look at that crackling. That looks too cool. I love it. Oops, that just keeps wanting to come off there. All right, put that on there and I'm gonna leave it and let it dry and finish crackling. But here's what we've got so far. On the first half, it's already crackled. Isn't that just the coolest ever? And as the rest of the paint dries, it will crackle as well. And it'll look like crackled paint. This one that we use the metallic paint, pearly shimmering paint on, I don't know if it's my paper, but it really does not want to crackle very well. Don't know why. Don't know why. But it did have, that's the one with metallic black. So let's try the metallic black with the antique white acrylic paint without shimmer and see if we can get it to crackle. That might be our little secret. Only this paint's going to work. All right. Waiting for you to do your stuff there, Mr. Off-White. Looks like it's starting to crackle in one place. You can see it's starting to as it dries, so don't think it's the underlying coat. I guess there's always a possibility that I did not coat those circles with the Crackle paint, so I don't know why it's doing that. But this is going to crackle as well. The off-white seems to be the one that's allowing it to crackle. For some reason. I don't know why. I just did what I told you not to do, but we'll see if it works. I didn't quite have that finished coating it there. So maybe it'll work. I don't know. But it's definitely starting to crackle in some places. Let's just put a little bit down through here and finish covering that here. Might take a little longer for that area to crackle. All right, so we're gonna lay that to the side, and we are already getting some crackle. See the crackles? Yeah. And for some reason that looks more of a blue coming out underneath, not the, I think this was a metallic black one. Here's our little baby tab here that will crackle on one side. So do we want to try the pearly paint? Because I know I got this covered good. Let's see here. Let's wipe my paintbrush off again and see if we can try one of these others on this little blue one. See if it starts crackling. I mean, you can see the first tag I did how it's really crackled. So let's see, maybe if we, let's try this too. Let's put a little bit of white right in here and just stir this up a little bit and see if then it will work. Maybe the metallic finish does something to the paint. I don't know, but we'll find out shortly. This is going to work. It will crackle right up. So we'll see. Let's just lay it here and let it do its thing. It is a little bit bigger, so it's going to take it a little longer to dry. This is back to my antique white. I'll use that on this frame because I think that will look really cool when the frame crackles. And hopefully it'll work. So it just takes the 3 coats. The hardest part about this is, first of all, as long as you don't make a mess when you paint, which I tend to do, that's the hardest part, is clean up. Seriously though, you just have to let it dry in between coats is all. And if you wanted to, you know, I wouldn't go for 2 coats on top, but you could put 2 coats on the bottom if you wanted to try that before you add your Crackle paint on top of it. But it doesn't seem to matter what you put on the bottom, I don't think. It seems to matter. Oh, look, our tab's doing it. You see those little crackles? I'll hold it up where you can see it. So maybe I didn't get that one circle covered, or that oval, I mean. This one's crackling. So it might be harder to see, but I also have the one we did in the rose gold color, and I'm going to use the antique white. I said I was going to use a darker one, but I think I'm going to use the antique white to see how it will do. Why not? Dum dum. Does anybody have any good jokes out there? Any good ideas for videos that you might like to see me do? I finished the 100-day project. So I am working on things, yes. I'm open to doing videos on something in particular, if there's something you might want to see me do. I am not working on any challenges right now. Just playing in my craft room and trying out some different techniques on things. Okay, we got that. Let's scoot you up since you're the Crackling Pro, and let's look at this one again, see if we... I think I just got paint on the back of my phone here, y'all. Nope. I'm getting no crackling at all on this. For some reason. Do I want to try it? Mixing a little more together and trying it? I don't know. Let's do the combo like we did earlier. And see if this will mix up good. A little bit of chunkiness there. We don't want chunky dried paint, do we? And I do have my fan going, so that's probably helping the drying on these really good. All right, let's see what happens when we do it all this one. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Take a little bit longer to dry, I think. But it's looking no different than on some of the other pieces I've painted. So we'll just put her down here and let it dry and see what happens to it. I think we're getting some crackling. I just messed it up because I put my brush over where it was starting to crackle. So let's see if I can bring that back to life. And let's move you closer to me and put you to dry up here on my mat. And this is one I honestly do not know if I put any of the Crackle medium on it. So we're going to just use pure off-white, and we may not get a crackle with this. I don't recall putting it on there. Maybe? I don't know. If it doesn't crackle, I'll know I did it, right? And we'll put it up there with that other oval. Thank goodness I had a lot of these, so it doesn't matter if I messed them up. And I'm saying I think I might have forgotten to crackle these guys with a Crackle medium. So let's just see what happens here when it dries. Still has a couple places where the paint didn't quite grip. Yeah, I went and washed my hands, so now they're going to be off-white. Alright, so we got this large tag here. We definitely want this one to crackle. So we're going to try using the off-white here. Okay. I'm just putting enough paint, you can probably tell, on my brush to just cover that one area. Ah! No, it's starting to crackle already, which is cool. Let's get that drop off there so maybe it will crackle all the way. And I don't think it really, I don't know why the pearlescent one didn't really, the pearl. I'm almost tempted to try this. I'll do it on this other piece of stuff I have laying over here to the side, where I only did half of it that way. If it doesn't work, I won't be too disappointed. Oh, this one's crackling up good with this mixture of paint. In fact, it's crackling up real good. So I don't know that it's paint. Maybe I did miss that, getting crackle paint on that one. Let's do this next brown one that I'm going to do here. I missed getting crackle paint on that one too, so let's put both of these. Yeah, it's not gonna crackle at all, so we'll put you up there. And make sure this piece, yeah, it's good and dry. Let's just pearl you up here and see if you're the last one I've got to add stuff to. Let's see if you crackle. Maybe it'll crackle before our eyes, and then maybe it won't. Oh, I got some from the bottom, and I only wanted to use the pearl kind. Okay. That's just... And I'm not doing a stick of a coat with this. I'm just basically putting it down on here. All right. We're going to see how well that crackles now. I'm not seeing it crackle anywhere yet, but it still might. All right. So this is the first tag that we did. It crackled. Look at that crackling. Isn't that just the coolest thing ever? It crackled up really good. Then we have our frame that's still drying a bit, but you can see, especially right in here, you can see where it's crackling really well. And even on the other end, it's doing some crackling, which is really cool. Then we have our little tab, and it's crackling as well. It is crackling as well. Got some little teeny tiny crackles on there. Yep. And then we have our other tag here. I'm not even going to pick it up because you can see how well it's crackling. We have this piece that's still drying, but I'm getting crackling with it as well. And then I have this tag that we did not that long ago, and I'm getting some crackling with it. And I think we mixed both the paints together to get this one to crackle. Oh, I got one more that I didn't see over here. So let me get it painted quickly, and I messed up this over here. It's still quite wet, so I'm going to leave my mess up. Let's see what happens. I'll have to let you know about that in my next video, because I don't think it's going to dry enough here, folks, for you to see the effects of it tonight. Alright, we'll use this. And just, again, painting a very light coat over top of this, so it will crackle up for us. It's easier for me to just hold the card, and then I can just run my paintbrush right off there if I have enough paint on it. If you don't have enough paint, you get that effect when you run it back over top of the paint. There we go. It's starting to crackle already. So when I put my crackle paint in my little dish, one of the reasons I cleaned everything up is because somehow I don't know if my thing had a leak. I had Crackle medium going all over my glass desktop. It's a good thing it doesn't crackle glass, or I would have crackled my glass. It just crackles paint. It just gives an effect anyway. I've not tried the Tim Holtz Ranger Crackle medium. So this is the way. It probably works differently than this does as far as adding things. But I got that crackling going on there, which is really awesome looking. And let's pick up this other pearly looking one here. I think it's the paint, y'all. The pearly paint. This isn't going to work right. If I want to use it, I believe I will have to mix the off-white in with it to get this sort of color that we did here that seemed to work okay. This, when it's pure, does not. The pure pearl, but if you add a little bit of the other off-white acrylic to it, like I did here, it would work. I don't know, because I didn't try this one on any of them, and I think I've used them all up. Don't think I can go back over those circles or my square piece. So I'm going to leave it at that. That is how you crackle things with. This is, I bought this on Amazon. It's Folk Art Crackle Medium. You get a full 8 ounces of this. And I've done quite a few pieces, but as you can see, I've barely, and I've done it previous to this to try it out. I did several pieces with it. And I used a clear coat, and it really didn't work. It seems to be that you need to use an acrylic paint on top to get that crackling effect. Now, I do have some metallic, it says it's metallic silver, but I just wonder if it's been labeled wrong because it almost looks green in here. So I'm going to try this at some point and see if it works, and I'll let you know. But for definite sure, this Folk Art Pearl, it's actually the same company, Pearl, there must be something in this that keeps it from crackling very much. I'm going to let it dry overnight, this piece that I bumped and got some stuff there, and I'll show you in my next video if it works out. But that's how you crackle your papers, y'all. This one here didn't crackle a lot. It just gave a kind of basic crackling here. I don't know, can you see that basic? Well, actually, if I maneuver my paper a little bit, I got it to crackle a little more. Looky there. So this one doesn't have as much crackle. It has some. You can see the lines there. But other than that, they all worked out and did what they're supposed to do. Look how this one we just finished here on the playing card is. It looks really cool. And I think it's looking blue, but I didn't use very much blue, so this one has to be the metallic black that we used. It must give it a little bit of a blue when you add that antique white on top of it. So the chocolate and the burnt umber that was very thick, I'm not sure. I think some of it turned out as well. So anyway, we've got several pieces of crackle here that we can come back and use in things. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint the back side of this tag while I've got some paint on my thing here, just to use it up, because I don't like to throw a lot of paint away. So let's just paint the back of this. I don't know that it'll all crackle because it didn't get a lot of paint and paint medium. Might get a little back there, but that'll at least make that tag usable. And I'm going to fix my, even though it won't crackle, I'm going to still fix my mess up here, so that looks more usable for a background piece of some kind. I like how the tags and the other pieces have turned out. They don't need any touch-ups anywhere. go ahead and touch that whole bit up there. And touch that up a little bit. There we go. And our ovals, I either missed getting them with Crackle paint, but I think this one got Crackle paint. It just, the shimmer's not going to crackle. And this one definitely isn't going to crackle because I don't think it got any Crackle paint on there. So those aren't going to do much. And this, I'm going to leave it overnight and see if it will crackle. It might still yet do that, but I'm pretty sure if I were going to do this technique, I would just use plain acrylic paints. Nothing fancy, just your regular acrylic paints. If you wanted to use something underneath, like I use that metallic black, it wouldn't hurt that. You still get a cool look with your tag. And I really like how this one's turning out too. But again, it looks blue underneath there, doesn't it? I think it might just be the way my light is hitting it. Of course, I don't know. Maybe it is going to be blue. And we right now have storm blowing in, so it's probably a good thing that I'm finished with my video. I hope you get some Crackle medium or some Tim Holtz Ranger Crackle paste or Crackle paste or paint, and do some crackling on your papers as well. I think you'll like the effects. And probably before I would put this in a journal, I would probably come along with some kind of a clear coat and actually go over top of this. It doesn't, well, that one's still wet. Don't try that, Miriam. It'll rub it off there. This one, the first one we did, it doesn't rub off. Well, let's get a clean finger here. Once it's dry, it does not rub off on your fingers. That paint was already there. See? That was already there. Let's put it where there's no paint. There. See, it doesn't come off. But I still would probably coat it with some kind of medium before I would use it. This is the one that had the pearly underneath and a little bit of pearly on top. It's not crackling a lot. So, like I said, regular acrylics paints when you're using this type of medium. I don't know, the Tim Holtz might work differently. And I have some on order. When I get it, I will give it a try and see what you all think. So I hope you all have enjoyed my video.